you.
All right, we're going to bring someone else in now. Phil Mubb, he works, well, we'll be back to you, Tom.
Yes,
we'll be back in a second. Let's bring in Phil Mubb. He's with us right now to help us get a little bit of idea. He has a counterterrorism background. Phil, let me ask you something. We're dealing with this paradox right now. You know, we have seen it in other cases. Faisal Shahzad, the Times Square bomber. Everybody's saying good things about this person, not defending the suspect, but just saying, as I knew him, very good, great character, great athlete. And then he winds up here, the worst of character, if he is guilty of the things that he has admitted to this hostage. How do we put the two together?
There's not a paradox here. This is a tradition in terrorism. Looking, for example, at 9/11 or the July attacks in London, you don't have particularly cells in the world I follow. That's what you see on TV. You have clusters of kids who bounce off each other. In this case, you have two kids who happen to be brothers, and I suspect we're in a closed circle where over probably or perhaps a relatively short period of time, they persuaded each other inside this closed circle that what happened was right. Now, one more thing. One of these kids is 26, one is 19. In the cases I looked at, you often have an older brother figure, even outside the family, who will persuade a youth to go into the movement. I'd wager here that the older brother told the younger brother, what we're going to do is okay.
But how does that consistent with character? See, Phil, that's the part that we have to get people to understand, including one of the two sitting in front of you at least. How can you be a good person and a terrible person at the same time? Is the gap fill in that what you believe in your head to be right and wrong?
That's right. What you're doing is what we call an analysis mirror imaging. You're assuming that somebody thinks the world looks like you think it should look. What they're coming from is a world where some people will say the United States has intervened in places they shouldn't intervene. They've raped women. They've killed children. From their optic, this is perfectly logical. So it's not inconsistent with being a good person. They would say our responsibility is not just to talk about this, it's to do something about this. And they did.
Yeah, you know, Phil, I'm just looking here, and we're going to be joined by another friend of Jahar's in just a moment, but he's going to talk about a conversation he had. I'm trying to pull up the exact words here on my BlackBerry, but a conversation that they had about terrorism where, again, he's going to say completely normal in all respects, but a conversation where he sort of indicated it's not wrong, there's something right about it. And maybe that was referring to some sort of fundamental belief in the cause or what it says.
I think there are simple justifications among the people I chased for 20 years, and that is they will say, look, I've seen images from places like Gaza or Afghanistan or Iraq where mosques are desecrated, women are raped, children are killed, so I can either talk about it or do something about it. The most important thing we followed was not necessarily large cells of people who would commit acts of terrorism. It was people who were in large clusters talking about Iraq and who would then break away and say, everybody else is talking, I'm going to do something about it.
You know, again, Phil, thank you very much. We'll come back to you when we have some more details to fill in. You can give us some context. Thanks for being on with us.